In today's video, I'm going to discuss the gas pressure washer, why you should use it versus electric, what are the differences, how to assemble it, how to start it, how to operate it, and we're going to demonstrate by washing this siding and my roof down because we're getting prepped so that we can do a paint job. That's coming in the next video next week. So today, let's just run through this process, just simple. And the reason I want to do this today is because I went to Home Depot the other day to get a pressure washer. I was kind of thinking electric would be more than enough for my project here, but upon seeing the pricing and what's being offered at the store, it's $200 for an electric pressure washer, and they're only half as powerful as this sucker. And I was thinking to myself, well, for another $100, I can have a gas pressure washer with the tank that mixes soap, right? That eliminates a step for me. If you've ever been to the car wash, you know you can hit a button and the spray starts pumping soap out. That's beneficial. And it also comes with 4 spray tips. So I've got the ability to pressure wash concrete, siding, just about anything. I can wash my car with this because I can go with a low volume spray and then use the soap attachment as well. So because of the features and benefits and the fact that it was only another $100, I decided to go all in and get something like this. Now, when it comes from the factory, there's a minor bit of assembly. Snap a couple of pieces together, put on the arm, attach the wheels. Not really a big deal. The instructions weren't really there for assembling the wheels, so if you're not familiar, there's one rod, there's a couple of washers. It's not that hard. They also have a section here where you have to put oil. This is an engine, it's just like your car, so you had to add the oil before you start. They gave me the bottle of oil in the package, so that worked out fine. All you really need to know for this assembly is you got to put the gas in, and you have to put the water in before you turn anything on. This is a motorized pump. Operating it without fuel and water present under pressure is going to be a problem, okay? Now, we'll go through the switches. This is your on switch for your power. It's currently set to off. Over here we have the choke. If it's cold, you leave it to on. Once you get it warmed up a little bit, you go to the running position. And this one over here is the gas, and right now it's off, and you have to turn that on as well in order to get the gas, all right? So we'll start with everything in the off position. First thing we're gonna do is fill up my soap container, and for that, you got 2 options. You can get a concentrate like this. This is a 1-to-20 mix, and it's designed for pretty much everything, right? It's like a degreaser cleaner, and I'm just gonna put my hose in here and fill this up mostly, and then throw in a few ounces of the cleaner. All right, Matt, you can hit me there, bud. Okay, thank you. And a little bit more, but slower. Yeah, well, okay, sure. This is not rocket science. This stuff is relatively affordable. So whether we get 1-to-20 or 1-to-10 or 1-to-5, I'm not too concerned. And there we go. And it snaps right on. Now, we'll set this aside and we'll take the hose. We'll attach it back here. And this is just like any other garden hose attachment. You just hold it in place. And again, you know, when you're doing this, go backwards until you feel the click. Let's see if we can get this in. There, it sits in the thread, okay? Always careful not to cross thread things like this. Finger tight should be fine. It does have a gasket in there, so if you reef it on too hard, you're gonna need wrenches to get it back off later. Now we can take this. The hose that comes with it has the same end on both ends, so you don't have to worry about what goes where. We'll just start this right next to that one. It goes underneath here. And threads 100 times, and then finds a gasket. For the wand, it comes in 2 parts. And there is a spray tip end, and then there's this end over here. We just thread that in. Now these are all brass fittings. I'm hoping that doing this by hand is enough. And for us, we're gonna start with a nice wide spray. On the front of here, it tells you the red, yellow, white, and the black, and what they're for. The wide spray is 40 degrees. Snap that in, it's just like an air compressor. You pull down on the collar, okay? And you'll be able to see the ball bearings. And then you set that in, and it snaps in place. Now, coming from the factory, this hose is going to be really inconvenient. Here we go, and it sticks on the bottom right here. Now we got everything connected. We're ready to turn the water on, full speed again. Here we go. So we've got water on, we've got water here, and we're gonna see. We have a safety lever on this. And there'll be some water coming out of here. That's garden pressure. That's garden hose pressure. The pump's not operating yet. So first thing we do is we turn our electric system on. We turn our fuel system on. We put the choke on, and then we give this a couple of pulls. And if it doesn't start there, we just turn the choke off, put the run position. So we're bringing the camera in here. We're going to now show you the progress as it relates, so you get an idea what you can expect. Because here we go. This is the area where the soap is sitting, right? Here is the area that I haven't sprayed. And here's the area where I just finished that spray line right there. Now, this is still got a bit of a yellow tint. And in areas right along the edges, it's actually a little whiter. So this did not peel it back to original color. But what it did do is get rid of all of these organics, this little mossy, moldy, oil-based, stinky, greasy crap off the ceiling, which is what we don't want to paint. So when I come in here to paint once this is dry, I'm going to have no problem getting a good bond on that surface. And that is why you have to pressure wash. If you paint the dirt is going to fall off with the paint. So you're going to have an issue. So we got to clean up all the organics, then we can paint on a hard surface, regardless of the staining condition, okay? A little bit of nicotine stain in that aluminum isn't going to hurt anybody, but I'm definitely going to get a much better bond here. And we'll talk about the paints we use in the next video so that we can definitely have good adhesion. There's all kinds of technology in the market. Our goal is not to make that white, it's to get it clean so that we're ready to move forward. And now let's just take a few minutes and I'm going to show you the effectiveness and how to handle the siding, because there is a proper technique for washing the siding. You're going to want to be a little more delicate. Hard surfaces like this are great to withstand the pressure washer, but siding, believe it or not, is a little bit more sensitive when it comes to pressure. So we're going to want to dial it down and use a different tip. Let's get into that right now. Okay, so this part of the wall used to be part of the old carport, so it was exposed to a lot more weather, just due to the nature of the driving wind and the rains, okay? So what we have here is spider webs and pollen, right? And other debris that's flying around. It's all gathered up and stained. Now that it's wet, it's really easy to see. Siding comes in two pieces and then a locking joint. It also has this locking joint, okay? And behind the siding, there should be a weatherproofing system, okay? But that doesn't really happen until the 70s. So if your house is older, be careful. When you're firing water, make sure you take a look at how your locking joints overlap and always fire from this direction so you're not pushing water in behind that gap, okay? Now, I'm using the yellow tip now. The white tip sprayed like this. The yellow tip sprays like this. What I'm gonna do is to decrease the pressure and be more effective, I'm gonna stand much further back. So instead of 3 inches off, I'm gonna start about 1.5 feet off, and then we're gonna see how that works. And if it doesn't do the job, we'll get a little closer, and you'll get an idea, at my expense, whether or not being too close to this is going to cut the siding in half or not. Remember, don't put this by your hand. Okay, it'll blow your finger right off your hand. This is not a joke, but we're just going to test it out here so that you don't have to experiment on your house. So again, let's just go through expectation, which is the key, right? If you manage your expectation, you aren't going to waste your time. These little stains in here, they're not going anywhere, all right? Between the sun and other organics and other materials that I'll find here, you're going to get some bleed through. This is marks. This is friction. Other materials can leave material on it. That's not coming off, and that's fine. Hi. Oh, the window was kind of open. That's interesting. All right. We're renovating the kitchen anyway. So what I do is you want to start from the top, left to right, blowing it away from these joints, okay? Do your best not to try to blow it up, because you will blow water in through and in behind if you're on an older home. But for the most part, just go left to right, knowing that all the water is going to go to the end and then drain out the bottom corner. That's your last spot. You're going to get rid of the debris, but you also have to rinse it off, because the next step, of course, is to paint. Now, I'm just going to jump into the rest of this, finish prepping my entire house, wash out all the windows and everything else. The only other thing I'm going to suggest when you're working with a pressure washer is wear sunglasses. Don't be like me. I'm crazy. But I'm old enough and smart enough not to shoot that water right in my eyeball. Now I'm just going to get back to work so you can see the finished project.